I remember hearing a story of a small country church that had a fire. It partially destroyed their sanctuary. Everyone was delighted that the damage was minimal, relatively speaking. The insurance money was more than adequate to cover the full cost of the repairs and restoring the beautiful old church to its former beauty. There was so much excitement within the congregation in anticipation of the newly renovated worship space. Everything went well until it came to replacing the carpet. When the building committee managed to narrow the colors choices down to just two, the red carpet or blue carpet, the congregation experienced quite a division. There seemed to be a complete impasse as the congregation tried to firm up its final choice. The minister was unable to bring either side to the table to discuss how to make the decision. So finally, the leadership decided the thing to do was to have a congregational meeting, discuss the options, and then vote on which color the carpet would be. Well, you can imagine how lively the discussion in that meeting was. As they approached the end of the meeting, Miss Agnes stood up and said, "Reverend, I've got something to say. As everyone knows, I've been a leader in this church for decades. Why, I even taught some of you in Sunday school. Well, I've been concerned over this carpet thing, so I went to the Lord and prayed about it. All of you know that I believe in prayer. I asked God, I'm afraid we're about to make a bad decision down at the church. We need your guidance. Lord, what color should the carpet be in your house?" Immediately the Lord spoke to me and said, "That carpet needs to be blue." Well, when the vote was taken, the congregation decided by a vote of 51 to 49 that the carpet would be blue. Now, regardless of whether that story is true, we probably have heard similar stories which we could substitute for this and know that it is really a true story. I hope Miss Agnes really did hear the Lord and it wasn't just a convenient ploy to sway the congregation. When we look at the 10 Commandments, the second commandment says, "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord your God in vain." To do so is called blasphemy. Often we take that to mean that we're not to use profanity in our language. In any method of our speech, we're not to be using profane language. And I totally agree with that. But I think that there is another aspect to this that we sometimes miss. Whenever we use the name of the Lord to justify our intentions, our interests, or our desires, I believe that we can sometimes be guilty of this very same commandment. In this segment of 1 Timothy, which we have read together this morning, Paul speaks of two individuals who were guilty of making a shipwreck of their faith, as Paul put it. Scholars believe that it was because of their false teachings, perhaps, or speaking the Lord's name in vain in an attempt to justify what they were teaching. I've always loved the way Bishop Dick Wills expresses it. He says his desire is to go to God and pray instead of, "Lord, bless what I'm doing." He chooses to pray, "Lord, make me a part of what you're blessing." Consider the following questions. When you pray, do you find your prayers more focused on what you need from God than what God needs from you? Second question. What would you need to change in your life to free you up to be a part of what God is blessing? Third question. How are you doing at fighting the good fight of which Paul speaks? Again, these are questions for you to consider, and I hope that you'll journal them and keep a record of how you respond to them and reflect on them, not just today, but into the future as you're able to look back on what you have recorded. And I hope that you have a good day in this new normal of which we are a part, being the church in changing times. Go in peace.